Libra. Welcome to a life path reading for the late winter period between February and March of 2021. It's Raina here, but that was a long sentence. So I do life path tarot spreads, every once in a while. I enjoy them. Looking at life from a more philosophical, thoughtful point of view. As I've said in previous readings, I tend not to focus on relationships in these readings, although I noted yesterday when I did one of these that sometimes that is part of your life path. Sometimes you're working very diligently for years on end and you decide, hey, what about my personal life? I want a family, or even if you don't want a family, you still want a partner, and you have to have time, unless you meet them on the job, I guess. You have to find, make space for that. So anyway, I don't want to, dictate what this is going to be, but just to kind of tell you, and I will hold up the cards and show you what it means when I'm done. Pick an additional card. Okay. So we have a couple of cards that, we associate with emotions. I can't seem to get away from I could see this as a relationship issue. Why is that? And like I said, I could read it that way. I'd like to be able to do something else, but in any case, we have here the King of Wands, and this is a card of, to me, the highest manifestation of self-mastery, or what we would call, self-empowerment, maybe. And because you're a cardinal sign, Libra, I could see you wanting that type of a job or life where you don't have to answer to anyone, where you can do what you feel is right because you may have very good judgment to be able to, and good sensibilities about things. And you may feel like, hey, why should I take second banana to anybody else? I'm really talented. And if this has to do with a relationship, you may be deliberating, because we have this coming from last year. Oh, gee, stop the press. A Libra deliberating about something, or undecided. Look at her blindfold. Look at the moon. These are both suggestions of self-deception. So if this is about a relationship, it could be with somebody who's narcissistic and who is maybe dictating too much in your life. And that may have been something that you didn't know until just recently. Maybe there was a last final straw type of incident, which, made it so that you couldn't deny it any longer. But that still may not be whether or not you want to take that step out on faith. So an example would be if you, let's say you're a woman who had a child with the King of Wands, and he turned out to be very, either very self-absorbed, it doesn't even have to be maliciously that way, just very involved in his own endeavors, and you just didn't feel like you were having a family, or even if you don't have kids, that this person really thought about your needs and things like that. It was like kind of a one-sided thing. And so you're deciding whether or not to stay with such a person. Now, in terms of a life path, that's why I mentioned children, because it might be something that affects not only you, and that might be why you're a little bit leery of doing so. But if it's something with your own work matters, you may want to be like the King of Wands. The behavior that you may be engaging in the next few months, I would say leading up to that spring equinox in March, is the Ten of Wands, which is, you see the person's hunched over, so you might be working overtime. Now, that would be an example of somebody who wants to possibly start their own business, but in the meantime is really bogged down in whatever they're doing, and that might be strategic. You want to go out with a bang. You want to show them what you have, or you just want to work long hours to save extra money. It could be any of those things. By the way, in March, I think it's around the 28th, there is going to be a full moon in Libra. So that might be kind of the end of an era for you, or the end of this chapter in your life. What's coming in is represented by the Three of Swords. And so I did get a couple of cards that are associated with relationship struggles. And I thought that was kind of interesting because I just said I didn't want to do that. And it seems that's when I always get that. But, even with career matters, there can be this situation of feeling like you're passed over, that you're rejected. I wonder if the King of Wands is you wanting a more supervisory position in your company, maybe not branching off into your own company, but wanting it within that company, and possibly being disappointed, being passed over and being disappointed. It's important to know I don't consider myself a fortune teller. I actually am very resistant about saying things like that because I don't want to plant any kind of negativity within your mind that you just say, oh, she said I'm not going to get it, so I'm not going to get it. I would rather you look at the hidden energy that is present here as I record this in late January. So 2 of the cards I got for what's coming in the outcome have emotional strife attached to them. So what that would be suggesting to me is that perhaps, when you're trying to go upstream, which is how I see the Ten of Wands, of working very hard, maybe thanklessly in certain ways. It's how does that serve you? Does that really serve you? Is that really something that is good for you? Or is that something that you're doing because you think you have to do it? And I would ask you in those circumstances, Libra, especially if you have a Mercury sign, I'm saying specifically Mercury in, or maybe even the moon in Scorpio, because there can be a very how can I put that word, or deeply ingrained belief system that you have that is hard to shake loose. And it may be 100% false. It may be just something that you have believed because that was what you were conditioned to think about life. But doesn't mean it's inherently true. So I picked a card for the advice, and I got the Three of Cups, and this is a card of celebrating a victory, or it doesn't have to be a victory, but you assume when you're celebrating it's something positive. But I would say enlisting the sister power, girlfriends, or just anybody who is your support system, or you can even just say in a more general way, being more free to do things socially, being more in a lighthearted mood. In other words, kind of countering these heavy emotions. I mean, I have as the outcome, and I don't end with these kinds of cards. I had the outcome, the Five of Cups, which is mourning the loss of something. I don't end on these things because to me, there's not enough information there. Why? What's going on? And so I picked an additional card, and we have the King of Cups for the outcome. So it's kind of we have 2 kings in this spread here, and kings can be authority figures too. People who are supportive of us, and they have that emotional maturity to really help. Now, of course, it can be a relationship or somebody that is interested in you or you're interested in them. Cancer, Scorpio, or Pisces. It can be a counselor, and I wouldn't be surprised with the Five of Cups if you feel like you're in this pattern, this kind of vicious cycle of maybe more than one job or more than one relationship where you're trying your best, you're trying to do something, and that other person doesn't seem to appreciate it, or you just feel the sense of there being some kind of I don't know, like control going on, and a boss can certainly do that as well, and it makes you feel kind of beaten down in a sense. Then it's time to really look at what you're doing, whether it's professional or personal, because that certainly is not going to help you to, attract all the beautiful experiences that you're looking for. Sometimes we have to do what we have to do. I mean, there's no question. And you may have a controlling boss, or you may be living with a partner who's a narcissist, but you just can't financially make it. You can't just walk out. You don't have that support system behind you. You don't have certain things going on. Money may be an issue for you. And, if the person isn't threatening your life in any way, and it's just a matter of the negative energy, maybe you grin and bear it until you can leave, So it depends on circumstances. But there's that. It's interesting that the two more of what I would consider the two more positive cards are both cards that are cups, and they can involve other people who are helping you, trying to either counsel you in some way for some of your emotions that might be kind of heightened at this time. And so it's also interesting too that we have the fire element and the air element present in this reading, and that can indicate it's like passion versus logic or intellect. It also can be, for a Libra person, is the person, intellectualizing their life so that they can tolerate what's going on? And how is that serving them, or how is it creating problems for them? Just asking those questions is so important. Okay, that's what I have for you, Libra. I hope that this made sense to you or resonated on some level. If you would like a personal reading, most of my readings are astrology based using your natal chart, and I combined a couple of full-length readings. I have 2 different specials for people that want more comprehensive type of reading. One is called the Whole Enchilada, and that is a natal chart reading and a tarot reading. And the other one is our, transits and natal chart, like 2-hour reading for a special price. So check it out. That one's called a deep dive. So my website is randommoonastrology.com, and the link is below. Thank you for watching, actually. Bye.